it
we
got
were
to
gonna
that point.
send in the chat, bro. Like it got real.
Oh yeah,
We were gonna send in the chat, bro. People don't know. Like,
No.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Void Experience. Welcome back to all our friends. This time, we're including Bret. He finally made it, finally convinced them. As always, we have Bibhor, we have Nolan to my left, and we have Lewis as well. All their handles are in the info below, so go check it out. Follow them on Instagram.
hey,
Let's get started,
real
boys.
quick. They can't see the handle.
I can't see that.
No, not on the bottom of the thing. I'm going to put it in the description is what I'm saying.
I'll put it
So go look at the
Oh, okay.
description, and then you
That's
can find all
fair.
their handles. So now
There
we
you
have
go.
a hard copy. Because you're right, you can't see it in the video itself. But let's get started, boys. Bret, since you're new here, you are going to give us a little introduction about yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the fifth pillar of the void. As Lewis said last time, fourth pillar, fifth pillar coming in strong. Definitely excited to be a part of this. And share some common stories and have some laughs through this complicated time. So shout out to the void.
Where are you from, Bret?
From Long Beach, dude. Long Beach,
Born
California.
and raised?
Native. Born and raised, yeah, man.
Before we get into a few stories, how did you get introduced to the void?
Ooh. Well, multiple ways. I mean, I think primarily through Pike, right? And then it was kind of a cultivation of many life events and us five that, created the void. It's also a mindset, multiple houses, overall, way of life, come together at once. But still here at the void, Yeah.
I don't think we
Been through a lot.
when people say, how do we meet? I don't know. Our personalities gravitated towards one another's certain characteristics that we shared. That's what created that kind of instant bond, I would say. That's kind of how you explain it.
Yeah,
That's cute.
I think so.
I think,
How dare you?
Well, I mean, that's been the
minimize it?
feeling. So I'm not minimizing it. I think one of the beautiful things of what's been happening in the world right now is that it's allowed us and people to reconnect with one another, right? Like we
Oddly
kind of
way,
mentioned.
Oddly, like
Yeah,
from social distancing and all that. Like it's
Yeah.
weird.
For sure, but like we could talk, and we've been really kind of getting back or kind of thinking about our past and like thinking about the void, especially, right? And we'll share a few stories. Lewis, I'll let you start right now and tell me like one of your favorite stories from the void. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, what was it like?
I mean, there's so many stories that like you get instantly reminded of stuff just from random things that you go through in the day-to-day life. But oh my
Hey, come here.
God,
He saw someone outside.
Oh, shit, dude. I thought someone got killed.
Yeah,
Did he jump right on the computer?
That scared me
That's
so
okay.
much.
Yeah.
All right, so what were you saying?
Anyways, yeah. So the other day, we were outside just kind of hanging out right after the rain. It was really beautiful out, and we went through our sliding glass door to play some beer die. And I thought, this isn't the original sliding glass door that we started with this house. So I'm going to do a quick throwback to that story of how that happened.
What happened?
As many people know who have seen this, we all joined a fraternity together. And as you can imagine, you have a party here and there. And one of the ways that you get a lot of the new guys excited, the potential rushes and all that, is you show them the party. You show them how much of a fun new time they're going to have coming in, but you got to teach them some discipline, right? So part of that is, observe, keep a cool head and maybe not drink the first couple parties. Kind of just observe it and be a wallflower for a second, Just showing
Again,
some
we don't
respect.
condone underage drinking.
Exactly, and that's a huge factor in it as well, obviously. But with that said, we had one of these guys that was a little sneaky and decided to break the rules, and he ended up having a couple drinks too many and doing some push-ups, and one thing led to another, some alcohol and some push-ups, and he didn't run. He kind of just like a robot, just like power walked right through after his push-ups through our sliding glass
Dude,
door.
he was shaped. He was shaped like a slug. His body shape was a slug.
Exactly. Like
That's what he
Monster
was.
Inc.
I mean,
that girl with the glasses on
let's not
Monster
beat around
Inc.
the
Like,
bush.
it was bad and just slimed his way right through and.
The funny thing was, I think we
crazy.
were all like at the different parts of the house. I think that time, I was like, if any, one day we'll like we'll show the tour of the house. But
Yeah,
I remember that I was in the kitchen, and all I hear was like,
yeah,
I was
I've
like,
never seen
what?
plexiglass glass before that.
yeah.
I was standing right in the living room when it happened, and I was
Ridiculous.
pissed because we were having an exchange with basically the top sorority, and it was going really well. And this is the first semester where we're having like Pike was having exchanges with not only one top house but like multiple back to back. Like business was booming, as Antonio Brown would say. I love AB, dude. I fucking love him. A whole lot of money, but yeah. And so I was pissed off, and I remember then the noise got out, and then I think we got rolled by the cops, and then that's when I punched you.
So we continued
and my fingers still
the party
fucked up from it.
We powered through it. I think we put
So
a
what we
whole
did-
mattress.
we
We put a
put a-
mattress there. It was
Oh,
the
we tried to
most
put a mattress over the fucking.
Stop the noise. It was so gross.
Remember, we soundproofed the outside with just like 1 inch thick reflective like cardboard.
Dude, that was not working.
We
Like,
spent like $200. Yeah.
glass
Oh
everywhere on the
my
floor.
God.
Like, people, I
Duct
can't believe
taped
people
it.
continued to
It,
go.
it trapped heat in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke. Great time.
it was worse than anything. Yeah.
That place was cold for
Uh,
like a couple days because it took a couple days for him to come fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fixed it though.
Slowly.
To be honest, I didn't think he was going to fix it. I
And
thought
then
he was
right
just gonna
after
say,
he
like,
did it, we dropped him like the second.
Oh yeah. Wait. I was gonna get to that part.
Yeah,
So
tell
now that this event has happened and everyone's upset, we were at different parts of the houses. We come together and we're like, what are we gonna do about this? I mean, obviously none of us had broke it. It's our liability. We got to figure this out. So obviously it's time to negotiate. Like we got to bring this guy back and let him know what's gonna happen. I mean, obviously I didn't walk through the
Just
freaking
cry, dude.
house, right? So obviously again, no one else wants to talk to him. So here I am, and Bret joins me, and we decide we're gonna talk to this guy and let him know. A, you got to fix what you broke. I mean, that's just a given. And then B, thank you for attempting to join, but it's not in the cards for you. It's not going to work.
The person I eventually became the new member educator, but I was kind of helping out the new member educator at the time. This is what kind of like segued into it because I was part of the house, and all of us were on like an exec board, so we all were kind of helping each other out. We said we're gonna drop the guy, but we can't just drop him because then he's gonna say fuck you and he's not gonna pay for the screen. So we made him pay for the screen first, then we dropped him right after. And the current pledge at the time, a man known by the name of Phallus Face, woke me up at like 8 a.m. because I don't know, we decided that like 8 a.m. was the time, 8 or 9 in the morning was the time to drop this guy, and he didn't want to do it. He was like afraid to. So he made me do it, and like I think one of you, and like I didn't do that in the morning. That wasn't even my job. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just a funny thing, but no, we definitely made sure that we did that. We made him repair it first because he could have just kicked rocks. But yeah, and that was a spring semester. The spring semesters are always chum buckets for pledges.
And you know what, dude? I was so impressed. The guy did
We're all
it.
from fall.
You know,
We're all fall.
What did you do?
He was like, you know what? It was my bad. I was drunk.
Dude, he walked through a wall and
shot.
broke a wall. Like, just think of that.
Moment.
He walked through a wall and he knocked over the wall.
At that moment, like me and a couple other pikes started just saying, "He's fucking dropped," and the girls loved it. Like, "He's fucking dropped." It was so funny,
bad.
dude.
Sound like
I was so mad.
dude.
I remember we took his book. Someone took his pen. Out of the street.
Oh no!
Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy.
Speaking, I have a story. Speaking of exchanges, which a lot of good things happen in exchanges, I have a good exchange story. It's also kind of like how me and Bret kind of like bonded. So in fraternities and sororities, there's like a big and little. It's kind of weird, but it's cool. It's like someone that's a new member that you kind of take under your wing, and you're cool. Like you're mentors, but also homies. And that's who Bret was. And like he was okay, so basically what happened was, the preface of the story was I came into the semester that actually Oskar, Bibhor, and Bret rushed. Fall of 2012, 2013? 2012, I think.
2012, yeah.
I had gotten drunk and I thought it was a good idea to box one of my friends. He gave me a fat black eye. He fucked me up.
You look like the devil,
I
dude.
remember that.
I
Also
know
scared
that
you?
these guys were scared me when they rushed.
Yeah.
I had just moved into the Pike House too with Lewis,
Yeah.
but
He had blonde hair
happened-
too, bleached hair, yeah?
Yeah.
no, I never had that.
That was Anthony.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I thought.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Start from the last video.
No.
My bad.
So okay, basically, so it hit me bad, and like kind of like permanently fucked. It's like this eye. It fucked up some blood vessels. There's like still a little bit of red blood vessels that like kind of like burst, and then I think I messed up some cartilage in here because I got cracked. Like he hit me, and then I was dazed, and then he just full like uppercut. But he had training gloves on, which are heavier than sparring gloves. And I didn't know that. And like, that's all we had. We were just at my friend's house. I was trash. He was not. I mean, this guy's like 6 foot, 170 shredded. Like he's in the Navy right now. It was a terrible idea, but it kind of got me a lot of attention from females when I rushed. It was actually good because they were all talking to me because of my eye, but I guess these guys were scared of me, but I'll get to the point. I eventually got a sinus infection that wouldn't go away because of the cartilage. So I went on antibiotics for 2 weeks, and I did not drink when I was on that. And it's hard to not drink when you're in fraternity, but this day happened to be the day that I was off them, and I decided to drink. It was the middle of the week. It was like a Wednesday, and it was a dry, not even an exchange, like a dry event. Like you go to a sorority, like they do a fundraiser. They have, I think they had like baked goods and like you go there and you support. It's like a dry exchange. Of course, some people pregame every event, but like we decided to just go ham. So I remember I started off, I warmed up by taking like an edible, just warmed up. And it's like 2-3 o'clock on a Wednesday. I remember I had a biology lab the next morning at like 8 or 9 or 10, I forget. So I took that shit. I think we like chugged a 40, had another 12 beer. And then we go to this exchange. Like me and Bret, like this is kind of when we're like, me and Bret were cool because we like listen to hip hop and the same music. But we go there, we just, like some people say, like when you go to an exchange, like if you're gonna drink, what you shouldn't just have like 1 or 2, like be careful, don't
1 or 2. Like
I'm just became familiar. I just became familiar with this phrase like a year or 2 ago. We were 3 sheets to the wind. That's what that means. And like I especially because I had gone 2 weeks without drinking, was like getting hit, and I took edibles, so we were lit. At some point, one of us goes up to the president of the sorority with a Four Loko in their hands, because we literally went in there for like 5 minutes, said fuck this, walked to the liquor store, had a fake ID at the time. We bought 3 Four Lokos, killed 2 on the way back. One of us walks in holding one. It's a dry exchange. We're both underage. And then at one point, one of us stands up on the table. It's like a sorority event. We're all talking. It's all nice. The president's there. Everyone's dressed up. They have like their baked goods and shit. This motherfucker is standing on top of the table, shoveling like the Cookie Monster cup of food and shit into his face. We're like this guy goes up to the president, offers her a drink. She's like, no. She ends up really cool. She's really cool about it. But long story short, afterwards we drink more. I think Bret fucking got into it with one of our other members. Like they like fought.
Marca.
Yeah, he like I think like he had the beer, like the plastic from the liquor store, and he like took it off really fast and it kind of went in his face. And you're throwing shit at each other. Eventually, he throws a trash can at you. It cuts your eye open.
Yeah,
like it goes ham. Anyway, I got so ridiculously wrecked off of all the Four Lokos and the shit. I don't remember. I got back home. We smoked more. Me and Lewis had a trundle bed at the time because we were just like all in this one room together. And a trundle bed is like a raised up bed where you can put a mattress in. There's a pull out mattress underneath it. So this was when we were first setting it up, and I didn't get frames for the bed. I'd never needed bed frames, but I had to buy bed frames. And I went to IKEA, and it's basically just these boards that are connected together with a little rope, but that broke because I stepped on it. So basically, I came home later and I had the mattress. And then when I went into my mattress to lie down because I was gone, there was no bed frame. So it just went like a V. And I was just like this. My bed. And I was just so passed out. And then I didn't make my lab the next day. I think I got a 1.0 GPA that semester. It was a 0.9.
Oh no!
Hey, I still graduated, hoes. All right, that's my story.
That I remember those times. That was still like when you were at
That was pre
14th
Void
Street.
days.
Yeah.
That was pre-Void. That was
That was like while it was forming.
That was
while
during
it was forming.
when we rushed.
When we had the two houses next to each other.
Yeah.
The duplex. That was nice.
The duplex. That was wild. Remember at the end of the day, you guys had like a 14-page like
Eviction
police report. Yeah, like the number of times the cops have been called on that house.
I mean, you get a 30-day. You get a 30-day. Everybody has
we basically like never had a secure fraternity house that didn't get like evicted. So like we'd have these satellite houses, as they call it, like not a real house, maybe a 3-bedroom, something that could like throw a small party as like a reserve. But we didn't really have anything, so we'd have to keep bouncing around all these houses, and it'd basically be like, all right, our house, we throw a party. Oh, cops come and give us a 30-day notice. All right, then we move to this place. Well, they get rolled 30. We were just literally the day that our 30-day was over, we would throw another party.
We were house hopping, dude.
Literally the day before.
Like low key.
Sometimes
like
we just did them before and just said fuck it and like.
The Ragers at Fountain was pretty dope.
That was great.
Because we didn't have to give a shit.
Your current wife, I think, yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like
watching this.
You think he's biased?
I did a lot of
yeah.
food shit in your house.
Yeah, it's just that's more, like you don't have to worry about like you let go of your fucking worries. We like
yeah.
Condor.
The condo.
Dude.
I was like, wait, we can't go.
Once I realized that other people don't give a shit about your place, I know it's not right, but I had the same mentality because at the old Void, people came over and were pissing off our balcony the first time like we moved in. So after that, I said, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm going to someone else's house. I'm going to try to throw up and cause havoc.
Me and Brett have some stories at Fountain, dude.
We ransacked their entire kitchen, dude.
I remember there was always like just like half-eaten chicken bones always in the sink, like mac and cheese. Like during the party, there's like empty like 2-day-old mac and cheese and like just barbecue sauce on things that shouldn't have barbecue sauce on them.
Oh yeah.
Good times at the
It was a good house. Though. It was a good house.
We luckily had a few like pretty good satellite houses that we could kind of jump around and hang out with. One of the stories that I remember fondly of the Void, or not so fondly, I should say, but we once when we first moved in there, maybe about 3 months into us living there, we had a night where I was sound asleep with my partner at the time, and Bibhor and Bret come out and they're like yelling, they're screaming, they're freaking out. And like Bibhor has a knife in his hand, Bret has like a stick. He's like, dude, I swear to God, I just saw somebody run across the backyard. And so we start freaking out. And I had like a lead pipe that held the door open. We go around and we're walking around and we're checking and everything. Everyone was out there. We were all checking. And so I'm like, okay, wow, this is something. But they disappeared. A few months later, like something similar happened. And the same thing, man. We jumped out of bed and like this shit was starting to scare me. I'm like, dude, this is an unsafe place now, man. People keep jumping into our fucking backyard. Excuse my French. And it's like I don't want to like. I had to protect ourselves. I lived at the Void for I think 3 years, just about 3 years. And when I moved out, the day I moved out, I learned that none of that was true. That apparently my friends are some of the greatest actors I've ever met in my life, man. It's like that they're either that or just fucking chronic liars where it's easy for them. I don't know. But yeah, that's one of the
I totally forgot.
I remember that feeling, man. I'm feeling like someone keeps breaking into our house. What did they steal, man? I have like shit in the shed. Like, should we put something back there? Like,
I slept pretty soundly knowing that we were the biggest threat on the block. I've slept soundly knowing that. Like, I knew that
I wasn't like afraid, but yeah.
It was drills, dude. Just like, at school or the office building, bro. You gotta be ready, dude.
Stranger on campus drill, dude. We're like, whoa,
We were pretty. We all had a weapon ready. I'll be honest. You know?
Yeah.
I had a
We were
samurai
like-
sword for a while.
Yeah.
You had a katana. Yeah. We all played. Oh, remember Fruit Ninja? Sorry, quick segue.
Fruit Ninja, yeah.
Oh my god.
We had a we
katana
at
real life.
the back of the void has orange and lemon trees, is it?
Yeah.
Tangerine.
So
Tangerine.
so I had a katana that I bought in Japantown in LA, Little Tokyo. It was a legit katana. It wasn't like sharp, but it was still metal. And we like underhand softball. We're pitching and we're all doing it. Oranges and shit, just slicing them. Like remember, that was like right when the iPhone video slowdown feature happened. So we like slowed it down and we're like, and I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cool.
That was awesome.
Good times.
Yeah.
Bibhor.
Dude. Yeah. So this was right before we moved into the house. So we used to live at that old
Sorry,
apartment complex, something View Apartments, something like that.
Pacific View.
You know, Pacific View Apartment, and the whole place was already like haunted from day one. Like, you know, they moved in,
And there's a
there
guy
was
with
dead
a
people. People had
there was a guy with
died.
a sheet over him. This guy had a heart attack. I wasn't there, but I guess
Yeah,
they saw
just
a
had
guy.
died of a heart attack.
Bad omen to
And
start with.
the place was just, just a weird place.
The toilet would make weird
and-
sounds at night.
I think that was just people fucking with us.
Yeah, whatever. But it was a weird vibe in there.
But so there used to be a 7-Eleven and a Holy Moly right there that we should go get food all the time.
Right across the block.
It's a walking distance. So one day it was like, I don't know, I think it was a weekend, like Saturday or something like that. This 7-Eleven we go maybe 7 times a day, maybe combined probably 10 times a day, just to get everything that was to be our. Oscar used to live off that 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So
Some
we
used to live off that 7-Eleven $3.99.
So we used to get food there. So one time we saw a person getting basically burned in his car alive, and he died. But what happened was a homeless guy had come and he had just wanted money, and the guy said, go fuck you, I don't want to give you money. And he basically burned this guy in his car.
With a what?
He burnt. He basically
He said it was like a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he bought the liquor at 7-Eleven.
His idea was, I'm going to panhandle, and the first person that doesn't give me money, I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail at him. That was his plan for the day. That's what he
But
woke
we
up and decided to do
gradually
this day.
just decided to sit there and eat and watch this whole thing go down at the Holy Moly. And then later that night, I remember, I don't know, it was like 10, 11 o'clock, and Oscar used to always park on the backside of this place, of the 7-Eleven. And I remember he's like, hey, can you guys walk me? And like, we're 21, 22. We're like grown adults, like we're dudes right now. So it's like, he's like, can you guys walk me outside? And he literally freaked out because we said no. And he said, you guys are willing to let me die?
Someone literally just got lit on fire hours before at that corner. And I feel fucking unsafe, man.
I think you
as a
waited like
pack.
40 minutes to basically get us to go, and you ended up walking by yourself.
Luckily, I made it safe. Probably waiting that 40 minutes is what did it, I'll be honest. I don't have good friends, man. They didn't want to keep me safe. That's what you reminded me of. Thank you.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
It's just you getting roasted.
Last but not least, Brett, since you're our newest member, man, what's your favorite fondest memory of the Void so far?
Oh man, I mean there's so many. I think one of the things we were talking about before was the battle with our neighbor, which as you grow up, you have a different perspective. The robot. You have a different perspective, on what it would be like to, have a family, and take out a $500,000 loan, whatever it is, to buy a home. And then 2 months later, a fraternity moves in.
No, we lived
you
there
guys
first.
have
We
seen
lived
the
there
movie
before.
Neighbors. No, but
after?
real quick. The movie Neighbors, for those,
Yeah.
that's the easiest way to describe, to a lesser degree, actually not really, but the movie Neighbors, like where there's the neighbors that have a family and the fraternity next door, that's kind of what it was like.
No, it got there. It got there.
Yeah,
It did.
but
It fully
Go ahead.
got there, and that's like crazy. And I now like I get it from their perspective. Like
100%.
oh,
They're back
this.
now. They moved back after a couple of years. But.
Now
No, they did. We thought that they were renting, but they actually own the property.
Yeah, I was there.
And without getting into going into too much detail, he has a
we
company,
won.
international.
We
yeah,
won.
Yeah, well,
We won.
there's still here, but yeah, we won. But no, yeah, he had a company that was an international company, and one of the satellite offices or whatever was in Germany. So they moved for 3 years or whatever it was to Germany. So before that, it got so bad.
They were calling the cops
They
on
were
us
gonna
for
send in
parties.
the chat.
They hired an attorney to write
Sue
us
to try to get the city,
Yeah.
and also to get the school to kick us off
Yeah,
campus.
I had to meet with the
Yeah,
lawyer
we
of the
won.
school of Long Beach State. And
I want.
coolest guy ever. He was just like, don't worry about it. I was
Yeah.
like, are you serious?
It was a
You
back
know?
and forth. It was kind of nonverbal for the most part. It was equally,
No,
both.
it was verbal, dude. It got physical. What are you
Yeah,
talking
okay,
about?
but wait,
They
just check
retaliated.
us out. Just check us out. We would notice that like it was bad, but like we would start seeing like coffee stains on our car, like you just pour coffee on our car
trash.
in the morning, stuff track. And then the worst happened when our friends and one of our tires got slashed.
Yeah, bullshit.
And then that was like, it got bad. But then I guess, I mean,
that's
we
when they
we
lost.
stayed there.
That's when they lost.
But I mean, we stayed there. But I mean, from their perspective, I totally get it. But continue the story.
Yeah. Let them say.
No, I mean, that was essentially it. I mean, there was just so many battles. And like Bibhor said, I mean, we eventually won. Yeah, I mean, I had to talk to the lawyer of the school. You know what I mean?
We were going to send in the chat, bro. Like, it got real.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to send in the chat, bro. People don't know. Like,
No.
Yeah,
And then we had to address the landlord. So like
that's the Manhattan Project that we don't speak of. That's the Manhattan Project.
Og and Norma, they're like 95 years old, ready to have a heart attack over this. Like, whoa! Are they gonna kick you out? What's happening?
These gays are in our house.
Remember they came and they saw Abel and they thought we had
You talk about 1 foot in the grave, motherfucker. They had a tent and a roasted marshmallows in there. They had one finger on the top and a little straw.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's funny? Like the whole gang thing.
They were definitely nervous.
They thought the whole Abel thing was a gang.
Oh,
But like,
We had a black friend who was in
thing.
fraternity and he had letters on and they thought he was a gang member.
Yeah, that's just like, that's how far back it was.
Wait, we have to explain that before we.
What do you mean how far back? You're acting like it was a civil rights movement in the 60s. It was 2015.
Yeah.
That's how far back they are.
Oh, they're super old. They were like close. They're pushing 100 almost.
Oh no! It's okay if you're over 100 years old. It's okay to be racist. I think.
Yeah. Let me just quick.
It's not okay, but like you have to let them do their thing.
Our really good friend Abel, right? He came over to our house one time, and we had James, the landlord's son, Og and Norma, come over, fix something or do something.
Or was it John? We don't know.
He was just studying, on his laptop, doing this or that, or maybe he's playing FIFA. I don't even know. He's on the couch, and everything was fine. James seemed a little apprehensive coming in. I'm not gonna lie, I noticed a little weirdness. And then a few hours go by, and we basically get a call from Og and Norma, and Og's like, "Hey, Lewis, we heard from James, and basically he said there's like gang members or something going on. Is there some weird people at your house, or what's kind of going on there?" And I try to recollect my thoughts, because at this point I don't think of Abel coming over as a weird thing, but
no.
I think back and I'm like, oh, Abel was playing games while James was here. He must not be okay with Abel. And Abel's for perspective, he's a larger black gentleman. And I guess he's uncomfortable.
He's like an aerospace engineer. I mean, like mechanical engineer.
You know what the funniest thing was?
Smart guy.
Abel? Like, I'm not, no, I don't want to lie. Like, I swear, I had this apparatus with a Confederate flag on it.
Buffalo Wild Wings, bro.
And I swear, James looked at that and smiled. I'm not even shitting with you.
Oh my god,
dude. I mean, James is 70. I mean, his parents are 100. He's 70. Like, they're like, it makes sense, like, kind of grew up in that, like, like, America, like,
different times, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, still in Long Beach, though. I don't know. But yeah, man, that's the Void. I've missed the Void, and hearing those stories, I like catching up and kind of reminiscing on the good old days. Yeah, but yeah, since we talk about the past, let's talk about the present. Let's do our typical Corona update. I don't And Nolan and everyone here has mentioned that they don't want to talk about Corona for a long time, and rightfully so. I mean, that's what's on everybody's mind, right? But just as a general update, in case we are your news source, because we are viable people.
Don't let this be your news source.
I'm gonna follow a word of my own advice and not listen to this part. I'm sorry, but these beers are going through me. I'm gonna take a quick potty break, but I'll be right back in 1 minute. And you know what? That happens during podcasts. Joe Rogan podcast, people say I gotta fucking piss, so don't fucking judge me or us. No, I'm not talking to you guys, but I'll be right back.
Please.
Name my other personality.
Our subscribers, our 16 subscribers.
All right, sorry.
So to give that update, should we just sit in silence? We could just sit in silence.
No,
Just make it awkward for him.
I'm sure, like you said, our 16 subscribers would want to wait.
They're waiting on pins and needles.
Where are we at?
What's going on?
So currently we're at 1.6 million cases and a death rate of 90. Total death toll of 95,000 in the world. In the United States specifically, let's see, we're at a total of 468,566 cases. Total deaths is 16,691 cases.
Hey, I want really quick. I just checked out the website, and they recently just added something new that wasn't there before, which is the total number of tests.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, right, like we have the most cases, but we have the double the amount of testing too.
Yeah, there you go.
So, like people are looking at stuff and saying, hey, like this isn't making sense. The number that you really want to like focus on is like the test per a million population.
No, cases per million.
Cases per million, and how quickly we're testing the population as well. Mm-hmm. So, relatively to our huge like size of the country, it's pretty good, and can get better. But I think it's they're doing the best I think they could right now. I mean,
right.
Better. Hopefully they prepared, but
cases right now, huh?
Yeah,
almost 100,000 deaths.
New York has the most of any country in the world.
Even country, right?
Yeah.
As a state,
yeah.
Case numbers?
Yeah, they have 10% of the whole world.
They have 161 cases. 161,000 cases. Sorry,
California 20,000. California probably has more like 40,000, to be honest.
Well, how many
tests? Probably more, dude.
Tests in California?
Probably more.
We've only had 163,000 tests here.
How do you verify? How do you get that? Like, how do you get that?
Hey, so I
haven't really... It shows you the source actually.
So
we're looking at a Worldometer for people who are listening in. It's worldometers.info.
Everyone should be on that. I mean, not everything. Don't do it too much. You're gonna figure yourself out.
So Sadie follows my wife. She follows
shout out to Sadie.
This blogger, right? And there was a whole debate going about how like the blogger is now like basically is part of the cancel culture. Like her whole stuff got canceled, and it's mainly because like she got a test. Like she was able to get a test for her family, and she had a house in the Hamptons, and they moved there because she's tested positive. And the people are shitting on her because she had ability to get tested and shit like that. So here's my question: like, if you guys had the ability to get tested and had a house somewhere to go to, would you take that?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
sure.
Like,
it's a privilege.
Yeah, so if you have
to not infect anyone else,
if you have the resources,
even
you can go off.
Be safe. Yeah. Just be safe for yourself as well.
But you shouldn't shit on someone for having the resource to get those things done. Like, it's not perfect.
Who's doing that?
It's like it's a blogger online, and they're like shitting on this blogger basically because like she had it. She called her doctor, got the test when no one else had gotten it.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, if someone else got the test, like if they have the ability to get the test, then they have the ability to get the test.
Wait,
she actually had it.
Why are they criticizing her?
Because she also videotaped her experience of like what the testing process is like. And then once she basically it's like, but that's more of like knowledge, you can't like.
Why are they mad though?
Yeah,
why are they mad?
I don't get it.
They're haters.
They're haters.
They're saying she's like glorifying it.
Haters.
weird.
See, they're just saying she's using her privileges to get shit that she needs, but it's like,
That's
if I
what
had
everyone-
privileges, why wouldn't I want to get
Yeah,
shit? Like,
that's the point of a
it's like,
privilege,
what?
I guess, yeah.
You can always
want to
make
steal
that argument
away.
on somebody. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
a
it's like-
bullshit argument.
No, that's just like, if you have the resource,
People
like,
are
you
people
should
are
use
at
it.
home
What the fuck?
and on social media more than usual, and they're being extra white knights, extra keyboard warriors.
No,
Oh,
100%.
That's what
keyboard
the whole
warriors.
world is turning into.
Hugo's,
Put
bro.
those terms
Hugo's.
up.
Yeah.
Who goes?
The Carol Baskins, dude, just right behind just Carol Baskin, sardine oil, just saying.
If
It's gonna-
OJ
it
said
happens.
she's guilty, she's fucking guilty.
I'm
Hey, everyone
saying, I
that
think
listens
that's
to
the case.
this, he's got to follow Freddie Gibbs on Instagram. Funniest shit
Gibbs,
ever.
bro. Dude.
His shit with that OJ,
Did,
like,
did you see the shit where he did the Batman overdub? They're saying like he's making fun of Batman, like Batman's the shittiest supervillain because he has like no actual powers. And it's like, but it's like a
Money.
before. Remember the Arthur World Star overdub with the hood one? Was like my upvotes.
yeah.
It's like the same guys. Like I recommend.
Dude,
looking it up.
that skit's pretty
I'll
funny.
try to link that. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, but Freddie Gibbs, man, favorite rapper and also post fire.
You
I
love
used,
stuff.
I used to wake up to Freddie Gibbs every morning because Nolan used to just like, like he used to play it every morning, man. Just like straight,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, man. You listen to Freddie Gibbs and just like that's the type of vibe you're waking up to every morning. You're gonna make bad decisions.
He was gonna play live with Madlib at Coachella, dude.
Oh,
This
dude,
year.
Coachella.
Yeah,
Coachella
dude.
is actually this weekend, dude.
It's
Coachella's
supposed to
this
be, yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
It got
hey,
pushed back to
did,
October.
Brett, what was that stream
No,
thing
no.
that they did last weekend? The digital something.
Digital Mirage.
Digital Mirage.
Did you see Medicine set?
Oh yeah.
He dropped Paul Mahler by Freddie Gibbs and he dropped Mac Miller. I thought I love Medicine.
Yeah.
Medicine, sometimes it's like too much like elevator music, like all right, but I want it to like drop. But like he does some really great remixes. Like
Bro,
when he dropped that, like I was impressed.
No, I was saying go back and so Insomniac's also doing like the virtual rave-a-thons. Go back and watch Mr. Carmack's set.
I bet.
It's
Dude,
Or Jaws, dude.
when I
Jaws
saw
went
him live,
off, dude.
Mr.
throwback
Carmack's the
set.
only
Yeah.
person that I've seen live. I saw him at Hard Summer. You were there. To
Yeah.
this day, to where like I still can't, I'm still processing it because like it was so good. But like when you asked me what happened during that set, I was just like, it was just like his head just got smacked with a big long like thing for like 30 for an hour, and like I don't
Yeah.
remember, but it was so great.
it's,
it was a
it's
good.
grimy.
Dude, we have to
Yeah.
talk about this thing we just streamed because it's kind of a follow up from the last episode. So Louis C.K. his new like dude, we saw it. It's freaking, I'm sorry. Okay,
It's funny.
everything aside, what
It's
he
funny.
did,
It's funny.
he's
Don't apologize.
fucking hilarious.
Is it on
I
Netflix?
don't care. He's so
No,
funny.
you gotta pay for
I
it.
think I can send it to you guys.
You guys need to watch it.
Yeah?
It's hilarious.
No, I've been hearing about it. I didn't see it on
Hilarious, you
Netflix
didn't
because
see
he
it.
got like kicked off Netflix for the whole. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got everything, dude. Everyone's just
Yeah.
disbanding. Like he said, he went to France for like 3 years, basically because he's like, I wanted to get off this world, so the best I could do was the continent. So I went to France, and he was just like,
No, I think,
he's on
dude,
a
it's just
low.
like I don't know. I think he's one of the funniest comedians. So people should just like.
I mean, you should watch it. He explains a lot of stuff. He like kind of comments on everything that went down. So even if you're on the fence with this guy, like just watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So what do we have next, Oscar?
Well, Ronnie Sanders, man. The burn.
Larry David.
R.I.P. Bro. R.I.P.
I usually, I'm not usually a fan of feeling a burn, but in this case, I don't know. I was starting to feel the burn, and now he's gone.
I don't know, dude.
Thoughts,
I don't know.
beliefs?
I'm not surprised, but
You know, yeah,
that's what it is.
I didn't think he was going to get the nomination. I just think there are too many people that are selfish in this world, I guess, to a degree to where like people don't want to pay for other people's shit. I mean, end of the day, I think like, you know, like healthcare is something that should be free, but you know, who's going to pay for it? That's the issue. But with that, I don't like Joe Biden. I think he's senile.
He's a snake. He's a snake.
What does
That's
Trump
the
call
other
him?
one.
Sleepy Joe? Sleepy
I just don't think he's all up there.
Sleepy
You know,
Joe.
it's just like, can we just like get a redo, bro? Like, can we just put
There's
Obama
some
up there
videos
again?
out there that you'll
Yeah.
watch, and then you
Can you, since you took a 4-year break, can we get him back? You know, it's like, is that a rule?
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt did. Teddy Roosevelt did that, didn't he?
He did it 4 straight terms.
Right.
40 straight. 4 straight.
4 straight terms. Yeah.
Wow, man. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bummer. I mean, we'll see how this election goes. We'll be covering it a little bit more as time.
It's going to be mail-in. They said they don't want they're saying this is going to extend all the way to like end of the year.
I think something that happened was like I think you have to register to have mail-in, or maybe will they make exceptions for that?
You probably have to go online.
I think they will. But I think
the
whole system is.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's kind of messed up because I feel like there are better technology that you can apply now, like on situations like this, to like kind of progress the voting system forward to where there isn't fraud and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they know a lot of the voters are older and they're not adapt to technology. That's why they don't want to do like go on like some sort of a blockchain ledger for voting where you can't hack it, or you can't do any illegal like shit with it.
Drive up the numbers,
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of old people vote, so it's just like they want that mail-in,
Yeah. Dude, I have to shout
especially the Republicans, I feel like.
I have to shout someone out while we're on the political topics. I think I had a conversation with one of my roomies, Tyler. So he's helping hold up the void right now. And we were kind of talking about how the stock market's going to react with Bernie being out of the races. And since he's kind of got more of like that socialist kind of vibe to him being out of the running put a lot more confidence, I think, into the stocks. And you can see, like, if you look at your stock apps, like everything's moving up. Everything's
this is those are all
a huge reaction.
I think I think it's going to go back down. One, I think it hasn't hit a couple of different markets yet because people are still, a lot of big companies are still cushioning off like profits of what they had. Yeah. But depending on how long this lockdown, I'll say we're at like 40% lockdown. We're like at 60% lockdown, meaning that like 40%, we're going out, we're getting groceries, I'm fucking walking the dog and shit like that. So we're not 100% lockdown. No. So because the economy is still progressing, but if it goes on longer and longer, companies are going to start laying more and more people off. And what we're not noticing is like the housing market hasn't reacted yet because people are getting these like forbearance for a couple of months from the federal government. Yeah. But let's say the economy doesn't start for like 6 months. The banks can't continue to give forbearance for that long,
Yeah, right.
So then what happens? There's no job. Then you start doing mortgage. Yeah, exactly. Then people start defaulting. Then you're going to start seeing that. But depending on how long this lasts and how quickly we get back, we could see like a huge downturn. Way worse than 2008, I think. But we're just like it takes time. Just all this.
At what point are you going to feel comfortable to go out to a bar again? No, like regardless of when they say you can. Like personally, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, are you going to go? Wow, there's still cases going on. Am I going to go to the bar?
If they say it's okay,
no. Did you guys all see that article that like there's going to be no more handshakes?
For a while.
No more handshakes.
No more handshakes.
Yeah.
The main thing we talked about last time was like you could get it again. You have it, you could get it again. Then are you going to risk it? Like it's like.
Mm-hmm. No way.
I don't want to get it. I might be fine. I don't want to get it. What if I like have a hard time breathing? Like sucks. I'm not like.
No, you can have permanent lung damage from it.
I don't want that shit.
I don't want that.
I'm more afraid of giving it to someone. But look at South Korea. South Korea's they're seeing a revamp. It's getting it back. Yeah. And even
stronger. It's a second wave. That's why you try to prevent like the mutation. But they're saying this thing's already mutated like 6-7 times.
Yeah.
The problem is the healthcare workers getting overworked. They're getting overworked, and then they're getting COVID, and they're going back in their daily lives. And it's just that there's many avenues of the continuous spread. Yeah. It's impossible to regulate.
He was telling me something about the delivery drivers. What's going on with the delivery drivers or the fast food joints? They're gonna.
They're striking, bro. Yeah, they're trying to strike. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna basically anyone who's not unionized that's a fast food worker is just gonna say like, I'm not getting the right conditions. I'm over this. Like, dude, there's a lot of power in that. Huge
right
power.
Now,
I think right now, like that's
like, yeah.
The matter of the fact is like a lot of people are getting laid off. Not the right time to be doing that kind of shit.
I don't know because like those people who are like in logistics, like they have the leverage right now because without certain, I wouldn't say this is fitting for everybody, but there's certain, I guess, careers right now that you really have a lot of leverage to kind of say like, I have a lot of power. If I don't show up to work, man, like your whole infrastructure is in the shitter almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't know. One thing that I hope comes back soon that we kind of touched base on last week was just like entertainment, right? And Nolan was mentioning one specifically about Hard Knocks HBO. I'm not sure if you've all seen this. It's an HBO show where they follow the preseason of an NFL football team, their summer training camp. And this year, what they're doing that's unique is they were going to cover 2 different camps at one time.
If they do it.
This is the one thing that can be affected. Nolan, I know you know more a lot. Like you know a lot more about it. So I'll let you.
Not a lot more, but I know that the show Hard Knocks is rumored to feature the LA Rams and the LA Chargers. A little bit on that. For those that don't follow football, both those teams are not. They might originally be from there, but like as of like it used to be, it was the St. Louis Rams and it was the San Diego Chargers as of like 4 years ago. The at one point or another back in like the early ages of like when NFL was forming, the Chargers were in LA at one point and the Rams were, but that's neither here nor there. Essentially, the Rams came to LA how many years ago? Was it 3, 4?
3 years ago.
And they create a lot of hype. They got Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, all these big name players, Aaron Donald, and they're making a lot of. I don't like them. I'm a Charger fan. Fuck the Rams.
Fuck the Chargers, dude.
Yeah,
Trash.
Fuck you.
Fucking 20 years.
Goff's a statue in the pocket.
Yeah.
Goff's a
Made to the
fucking statue
NFL,
in the pocket.
dude.
Where's Gurley? Done. The bronze
Gurley's
kneecap.
done. Gurley's
Look
been
up the
trash.
bronze kneecap and that Jimmy Newton and Very Odd Parents. It's a ram. Oh my God! It's literally a ram. It's too good to be true.
Gurley's done. He's been done.
Yeah, but sorry to get back onto this subject. I'm sorry. Bring me back, Oscar. Bring me back.
HBO.
The Hard Knocks.
Okay, so Hard Knocks essentially is a show with like it's like a reality kind of show. Not really, but like it's inside the life of an NFL training camp. They did the Raiders one year. They did the Bengals. It's really cool. But this year they're doing Chargers and LA Rams, who are essentially competing for fan base right now because they're both in LA. They both did really good 2 years ago. Rams did okay last year. Chargers did shit this year. So like they're kind of competing for a fan base, and they just put all this money into the thing. It's called SoFi Stadium. It's going to be the biggest NFL stadium so far in Inglewood. It's got like a
it looks
LED
sick.
projector. Like
It looks sick.
pull that up, Oscar, if you can. Like
from the plane.
Type Rams new stadium. SoFi Stadium. Yeah, pull it up. It's incredible, but it's gonna supposedly be that. But I mean, that'll happen if the season starts, man. We don't even know. It's been devastating.
Yeah, I mean, would you go to a game? You know, and
one.
No, like
this year might be expensive though. The first year's
these are some of
Chargers.
Oh, see, no, just take it off the screen. There's no point.
This is it being built right now. That's
this
is what it looks like.
That's
what it looks like currently. It's gonna be nice.
No, it's gonna be sick.
Show some better pictures of not the construction of like with the digital images of what it will look like. Try to pull up a couple.
I'm on Google Images, so hold on. Let me try to find something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There you go. Yeah, it's all Charger stuff. Yeah, there's not a lot of.
It is.
No, there's both. Come on now. The Chargers are being overshadowed by the Rams right now.
Right there's, yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Fucking
That's dope,
man.
dude. That's dope.
Holy shit. It's going to be, I'll go to a game there. That's an experience, man.
You know, I'm not going to go until
I'm not gonna go.
until every single person has been found or killed.
He comes from Nepal, buddy. All right, they do things
every
different.
COVID person.
I mean, at what point do those types of venues open? It's just
they said until they find a vaccine, dude. End of the day, like until
Brett,
they find.
we're just talking about the fact that it's how the flu is seasonal, Brett.
Yeah.
You know, like
this is not seasonal.
No, they're saying that no, this is going to be.
Yeah, if this is seasonal, then there's a problem. Huge problem.
Because people are saying in the summer it might go down because of the temperature. It could wane and wax. It's just gonna be like this until we finally have a cure.
And it's gonna kill a shit ton of people.
Yeah.
Hopefully not as many as you would hope.
Stay healthy out there, right? I mean, that's all we can say is try to, keep your immune system up, take your vitamins.
One of the things I know that's been
you're super stressed at home too, if you're of age.
Yeah, I mean the NFL. Hopefully, we still have it on TV, so you can watch it live. Maybe you won't have a fan base there, but you get to still enjoy. One thing that's being affected now, right, is UFC 249, which
canceled, bro.
It.
Canceled.
Didn't get canceled, but it's not going to be on the original date, which is the 19th, I think.
So it's canceled.
Yeah.
Not the one that's supposed to be on the island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dana White's going to get
one's done?
No, it's not done. It's not going to happen that day.
Dude, what was all this hype? He was getting a private island and stuff.
Dude,
so it's
just like
you gotta not have expectations, right?
Like logistically, what he's trying to do is insane, dude. I don't know how they pulled out WrestleMania. I don't know. I'm so impressed.
That's when the quarantine was still kind of like.
No, it was the other day. It was on Wednesday.
I thought it
was on Sunday. It was this weekend. It was this weekend. Yeah.
There was no audience, or was there?
There was no audience. It's a 2-day event. But
yeah.
We'll see what happens with the UFC event. Like,
Dana White was trying to put together like a great lineup, and there's a lot of good fights, and one of them was going to be Rose Namajunas rematching Jessica Andrade, who if people don't know about this, Rose Namajunas was the champion, and she was fighting against Jessica Andrade. Rose was winning, outboxing her, and she just in like some point in the fight, she grabbed hold of a Kimura. She grabbed hold of a hold on the chick, and the chick lifted her up and slammed her on her head. And she was losing the fight, but the chick slammed her on her head and won. And so now this is going to be a rematch of that fight, but Rose Namajunas had to pull out of the fight because of two COVID-related family deaths.
Wow.
That's a high risk, dude. That's high risk. Yeah.
So
you can't do that.
Like, I mean, the question is really like how, because Dana White said that statement, people are going to go crazy in there. We're going straight crazy. And if you take entertainment away, but how far do we go, when we're putting safety, or do we really want to throw this event and risk more spreading? That's the question.
Yes. Real quick, dude. I saw this yesterday in the news, and they said African Americans are more likely to get the disease. Like, this is a study done by New York.
No, I think I did hear something about this, actually. Yeah.
People are more susceptible to die once they have it, but not necessarily that they're more susceptible to get the disease. Once they get it, in general, from the statistics, like Black people are more likely to die. I think that's what's
Let's do some more research for the next episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't
talk out of your ass, man.
Let's look
before you
up.
speak.
Okay, so let's give a quick update in terms of progress of what's happening with this podcast. I think it's growing. I think it's kind of taking its own form, so to speak, and I like where it's going. Obviously, we're taking feedback seriously and trying to improve every episode. I think that, but I mean, what are we keep talking about the MMA podcast? I mean, what's a realistic time to where we'll release an episode, or what's next?
I think the next one should be like, or some point we should do a draft. I think that's kind of interesting. But the real goal, I think, is to get you to eat the gummy bear. I think that's what people want to see.
I've been saying, man. I put it on social media. I mean, is 200 subscribers asking too much? I mean, I don't want to go back on that. That's a coward's way out. It's a sign of weakness. I'm not going to lower it.
Well, you said one of the other. You said 100 subscribers or 1,000 views, right?
Okay. Well, how many views are we at right now? Can you get
no. 1,000 views per one video. I don't want to roast
one video.
Per one video.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to say we're about a third way there.
Gonna happen.
Yeah.
So subscriber, whatever. I mean, I'm not in a rush to do it, man. I've seen videos of it, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say this. I'm not just going to, because a lot of people are again, taking the coward's way out. They're just swallowing it. I'm going to chew it for 2 straight minutes before I swallow it, and we're going to have a timer. I'll chew it for 2 minutes.
I feel like we got to do that live, dude. We got to make this shit ready. We got to do it at the Void.
Yeah, no, I'm going to see how long I can do before I do the milk.
Yeah. I don't think you'll make it. Money is on.
We'll video you in.
And please, I'll accept donations.
Keep subscribing so we can see this. I want to make some money.
I like Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey. I have that. I think that'll be. And I'll just suck on it and spit it out or something. I don't do that though.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today for episode 4. Stay tuned for our next episode. We appreciate you very much. Please subscribe on the subscribe link below. Or subscribe to our podcast. Listen to us on a weekly basis, daily basis. We love you.
We're on the Apple Store now.
Yeah, we're on Apple Store. Tell them where we are. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Snapchat. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. Just give us a follow, like, subscribe. You know what we really need? We need you guys to recommend topics to discuss because we want to make this relevant. You know, we don't want to just keep going over the same bullshit every week. Let us know what you want to see, challenges, what type of content you want. Let us know, and we'll make it better.
And subscribe for Nolan to do this gummy bear challenge. I want to see this. I think everyone's going to get a kick out of it.
I'm not in a hurry on that.
Share it with your friends. Share it with your mom. Share it with your dad. Doesn't matter. Share it with everybody. Your dog. Subscribe. Love you all. Good night and good luck.